Question Time from the Edo diaspora, reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora, Italy, Belgium, Ireland, and the USA, hosted by yours truly, Lace My Man. In the best interest of Edo State, welcome to Question Time from the Edo diaspora. Wherever you are in the diaspora, we'll bring it to you on Question Time. These are active members of VOTE, professionals with experience in Edo State politics. We have a common interest, so it's time for that conversation in the best interest of Edo State.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, we say you're a passenger. So find yourself in a passenger, treat someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, we say you're a passenger.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Question Time from the Edo diaspora. The hot subject in the diaspora is the 2016 Edo State governorship election. With me to discuss affairs as they happen is the CEO of Veritas CA from Manchester, England, Mr. Uyi Okundaye. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me.
Straight into it. Have you been keeping up with activities from Edo State? We have our monarchy and we have our governorship. Now, which one would you like to talk about first?
Thanks again for having me. Of course, I've been following events. Following events in Nigeria is actually something I do. Something I enjoy doing as well. I've been following both events. Before we continue, may the soul of our king rest in peace, and long live the king in waiting as well.
Amen.
With the governorship election, I think we're going to have a very, very tough, close election in Edo State.
You have been actively following it, so you know how many aspirants are out from APC and how many aspirants are out from PDP. Why do you say it's going to be a tough one?
Edo State is a swing state. The reason I've said is in 1999, when the new dispensation of democracy came into play, we had PDP for 8 years.
Yes.
Oshomole came in. But don't forget, in between, we had PDP as well.
A transition governor.
The reason I'm saying Edo State is a swing state, if you look at the presidential election,
Yeah.
PDP actually won. But APC just got the required percentage they needed
You're talking about this presidential.
during the presidential.
Okay.
But at the same time, PDP won the rep,
Right.
and a week after, APC won the House of Assembly.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying Edo State is a swing state. And don't forget, in the last general election, the governorship election, PDP gave Oshomole a run for his money.
So you're saying this may not be as easy as it looks.
No.
So whichever candidate is campaigning right at this point may not find their way to the governorship.
No.
Is that a worry?
No, it's not. I think it's good for democracy. I'll make a confession to you. I'm a man of the left.
Oh,
So I always look at APC,
okay.
right? I'm not a member of the party anyway, so make that clear.
Okay.
I tend to lean left when it comes to elections.
May I just, before we carry on, why are you leaning left to APC without any justification, or you don't want to say that?
No, I'll tell you. I was born to vote left. Voted for Ali when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think I was influenced by the politics of Obafemi Awolowo as well. So even in the United Kingdom as well, I was actually a member of the Labour Party.
Okay.
So I've leaned left all my life.
There's been ups and downs where APC has been good and APC has been not so good.
Yeah.
Have you thought about looking at the right?
The reason Edo State is a swing state, I don't think we care about ideology. I think we're looking at who can perform.
Candidates per se.
Per se, that can perform. There's something that does my head in. When I say does my head in, it's when people start bringing tribal politics into it. That I cannot stand. I believe in a meritocracy. Let the best person win.
So now the best person, would you go for the best person if they were a PDP candidate?
Probably.
You would leave the left and
Yeah,
go with the
probably.
candidate.
Yeah, because the state is a swing state.
Okay.
I don't think we're stuck. I don't think we're like Southwest Nigeria.
Yeah.
You can say a state like Lagos. PDP throws so much resources to get Lagos.
Yeah.
Lagos is not going to change at all. I think it's going to remain APC for a very, very long time.
You're looking at Edo State now, and in a swing capacity, have you seen any candidate in PDP that can change your mind?
I don't want to mention names, but I think the front runner for the PDP might gather so much votes, but it doesn't do it for me, if I'm being honest with you.
Yes.
Yeah. There are one or two candidates I actually like in the PDP, but I'm leaning towards APC.
Why APC now?
As I said, I will always look at the progressive agenda. PDP is a bit unpopular, but they're a very good opposition in Edo State.
Yeah. Now, I came to speak to you as a CEO of Veritas CA for you to tell us about your business, how your business runs, and then put the human resource, the people with capabilities, the people that can get involved and help the government achieve what they want to achieve in front of them. So we spend the next 2 minutes talking about Veritas CA. Yeah. What does your company do in the United?
Veritas CA was actually a recruitment agency. I started as a recruitment agency in the care sector. So our job was to recruit people to work in care homes, residential homes, mental homes, and hospitals as well. And I took a liking for training, and I started training my staff as well. Within months, my training just expanded and expanded and expanded. And in December last year, I just said, you know what, I'm not doing the recruitment side anymore because it's a bit tedious doing recruitment.
Okay.
And there's a lot of cash flow involved in doing recruitment as well. And I just said, you know what, I'll continue doing training. And that's what I do now at the moment. And majority of my clientele, the people I train, actually people from the European Union. With African, with African origins anyway.
Do you have any Nigerians or Edo people?
Oh, loads. Since January, I would say 65% of the people I've trained are from Edo State.
Edo State. On your own, have you tried to expand your business into Nigeria or Edo State?
We did in 2009. When I decided to go to Nigeria to set up the same thing, I actually registered it, and I found out that the registration, there are lots of bottlenecks in Nigeria. And
to register?
To register. They make things very difficult for you. But luckily, I had a friend that was working with it's a corporate, I forgot what they call them now, some corporation affairs or whatever they're called. And he was able to register my business for me. It took 4-6 weeks, which I think is a very, very long time for the amount of money you pay. And I was able to register in Lagos, thinking my business would be based in Lagos. You won't believe my first client was in Benin City. And majority of my clients came from Benin City. And majority of my clients were Benin people. The way the business works is location doesn't matter. Yeah. It's a business you just call, you go on the website, you make a phone call, we'll pick up your call and say, oh, you need home care for your loved ones as well. So location actually doesn't matter. Okay. Because I've got people all over the place.
How has business been in the Nigerian environment?
I'll tell you something. I went on telly to advertise, and before I came out from the studio, we had 150 calls of people looking for work. Wow. So we trained about 50 of them in Lagos. As I said to you, if I reiterate the point I made earlier, I was thinking the business was going to kick off in Lagos. But by the time I went to Benin, that's when it picked up. Okay. And I've tried as well to target Nigerians abroad, the diaspora community. I'll tell you something, they're the most difficult people. They will negotiate and negotiate. It always makes me laugh because doing home care in the Western world, they know it's not cheap. Yeah. So why do Nigerians abroad think labor should be cheap in Nigeria? Because I wanted to set a very good standard. Yeah. The minimum wage at the time was 18,000, and I really wanted to pay 18,000 to my staff. Okay. So you can work it out how much I would have charged my clients.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edmond Ediosage. I am a consultant gynecologist and medical director at Cheshire Fertility Center. Cheshire Fertility Center is a contemporary fertility, assisted conception, and specialist gynecology service provider. We provide the very best and full scope of fertility treatment services, including IVF and specialist gynecology services for fibroids, endometriosis, and repeated miscarriages. Our experts are leaders in the field of fertility and women's health with over 30 years' experience that has provided them with detailed understanding of the sensitive cultural needs of African and Asian clients. Cheshire Fertility Centre is based in London, Macclesfield, and other locations around the UK. We guarantee prompt, efficient, and cost-effective service with no waiting lists. You can get to see our experts within a week of your inquiry. Come and see us at Cheshire Fertility Centre, where we expand horizons and fulfill dreams.
At a time of election like this, you get the politicians, they come and make promises.
Yeah.
You know, investors coming into Edo State, incentives being given out to get foreign investors. Have you benefited from any incentive from Edo State?
No. As I said to you earlier, and it's something I will go back and I will try and explain to you. Before I took Precious Home Care to Nigeria, I sat down and I said, do I want to do a business where I'll need a generator? I need to fill my tank. And I looked at it and I said, Precious Home Care, do you know what? I don't need all that. All I need is just a place for registration. And my sister, luckily in Lagos, just said, I've got an empty room. Use that for my business. Or use that for your business rather. And it serves me well. Okay? So, do we really have the infrastructure to say, I want somebody abroad to come to Nigeria or to Edo State? We're talking about Edo State now, to invest. In terms of infrastructure in the state, I have to be fair to Oshomole. He's improved the infrastructure.
Correct.
But is it good enough? People like us coming from abroad, can we stand 24 hours without electricity?
Correct.
The bad roads in Nigeria, they throw my head in when I'm driving.
Yes.
And when I'm in Nigeria, I find out, I try not to complain because they say, oh, because you've come from abroad. They think you're arrogant.
Yes.
But I just keep it to myself. But it is very, very frustrating. So they have to make the atmosphere, the condition conducive before you start allowing people to come. And naturally, when you have those things, people will come.
Have you, with less infrastructure, with not enough good roads, have you managed to increase your business in Nigeria over the years?
Or for the nature of business I do, it's not a problem. Because all we need is just somebody to go to somebody's house to look after elderly people.
On a bigger scale, if you was to push this into Edo State and stuff, would other investors, what would they like to see happening in the state for it to be attractive for investment?
I'll just focus on the area I know of, which is the healthcare sector. It will help decongest hospitals in Nigeria. If we had a system of whereby the elderly don't need to go to the hospital when you're poorly, you just need somebody to look after them instead of rushing into the hospital. Because these people, all my staff are fully trained. I've trained all of them. I've used Western British standard to train my staff. They all have a booklet that they read and they follow. So what I've done, I've tailored it to fit the society. I don't want them going somewhere and somebody tells them, oh, go and put the generator on. That's not part of your job, bro. Your job is just to care for the elderly patients, look after them, and sort them out and make them as independent as they can be.
Have you been happy with the way 2016 governorship election has conducted itself?
I'm not happy with the current governor. You see, you sometimes have your favorite candidate, but don't make it known to the others. We can see the chaos that's going on. There were stories of somebody being shot, the deputy governor. We had counter stories saying no, it did not happen. You sometimes don't know who to believe. And the deputy governor shouldn't think because it's number two that he should automatically endorse me. He probably likes somebody else. He probably feels somebody can move my legacy forward. So imposition of candidates is what I don't like, and that could be very, very dangerous for the APC.
Looking for fair elections. Endorsing a candidate, mostly by the governor in power right now, is that an election malpractice? Openly endorsing somebody else?
If we didn't have other candidates, it would have been okay.
Yes.
But we do. So it makes it very, very difficult. But if the governor is popular, I think people in his party, people in the wider public will want to go with him. So I think the popularity of Oshomole will be tested in his election.
You're very current. has the governor actually come out to anoint somebody?
It doesn't have to.
Question time. Reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, we say be a passenger.
Fact book for 2016 has it that the Nigerian diaspora sent a combination of about 21 billion in total
Right.
into Nigeria.
Nigerian economy.
Yeah, it shows, when you break down this figure, it shows that the diaspora actually survives the average person in Nigeria. What can we do now to change this balance? Instead of all the money going into the hands of certain people and the normal people are relying on the diaspora. We have how do we control the vote? Can we do it from that system you just spoke about?
I don't think we can, because the money we send home or the money we remit back home, they go to our family members. They don't go to politicians, do they? It's for them to survive.
But they are the people that vote.
So are you going to, for a question, are you going to send money to your loved one and say, I'm sending you £20,000, you must vote for a particular candidate?
Well, not necessarily saying it that way, but if there is a candidate that has convinced me based on what we have, very little, based on the promises, and whatever media showing they've had. If I'm convinced, I would like to know why my family members are convinced by somebody else. But should they agree with me, then I would say, let's vote for this man.
They probably won't agree with you, but I don't think we should use money to lure them.
Yes. I'm not going to use money.
No.
I'm not going to use money. So you would only do it in your household.
Yeah.
Do they agree with you?
They don't. I'll tell you, just on a general note, I'm a big fan of this president. I actually donated to his campaign because I believed in a man, or I do believe in a man. So you're going to have arguments with people, and people are going to fall out, but we're not going to use money to lure them. We'll just say, this is what we see from outside. I think that particular candidate is good. There's social media. And going back to the point you made earlier, I remember there was a time I put on my Facebook page a few years ago, I said, vote none of the above. Vote for Western Union. Because it's the money that those of us abroad are remitting home. That's what believe personally that's what's keeping the country going. Because the Nigerian economy defies logic.
Yeah.
And it's because of us, you and I, sending money home.
Now, you saw what happened at the presidential election, where a lot of money was spent by the standing president, but at the tail end, it didn't filter out that way. Do you see the same things, the same signs in the Edo State 2016 election?
Politicians will spend money.
You think we're wise enough to make a decision that
We'll take their money. I always say, if they bring money to you, take it, but don't vote for them. It's your money, don't forget.
Yes, from the federal, that what? State level, you think it's going to work?
Of course. Don't you think money was spent in Benin or in Edo State 4 years ago? Plenty of money was spent.
Yes. But we have the same governor. Yeah. So you think money won't work now?
People spend money. It's the nature of the beast. People always spend money. What I don't want people to do is, or politicians to do first of all, is take money from the state coffers to campaign. The second thing I want people to do is take their money, but go with your conscience.
And go with your conscience.
Yeah. I believe in taxing people. I believe in tax and spend at the same time. When people see value for money, they won't mind paying tax.
Yes.
So those are the things I always try and weigh in governance.
Yeah.
When people feel there's so much wastage in government, people protest.
In the present administration, what do you think? You think the money is well spent?
I do like Oshomole.
Yeah.
I rate him very highly. My dad, speaking to my dad a few weeks ago, he said, Ogbamudia Ali joins, Oshomole is next. But I went Ali Ogbamudia Oshomole.
Okay. Now, I agree, Oshomole has done a lot. How have you sat down and think, how difficult is it to govern Edo State, because the state is made up of so many tribes?
tribal politics does my head in. I don't think people care, you know. Politicians will divide us.
Politicians care.
Do they really?
Okay.
They use it as a means of getting power.
Oh.
But politicians don't care. We come from a society where we all intermarry.
Yes.
We don't look at tribe when we're getting married. We don't look at religion when we're getting married. But when it comes to politics, it's used to whip up sentiments against one another.
Okay.
Did Oshomole not defeat Osumbo?
Yes.
Where's Osumbo from?
Were they not from around the same region?
I think Oshomole comes from a different part
The
of
north.
So yeah, Osumbo I think is Asian.
Yeah.
So I think they're more Asian than people from Auchi.
Yeah. We presently have a system in Nigeria where the diaspora cannot vote.
Mm.
And if you're a Nigerian, this is the most non-biased vote you can get your hands on. How do we move this? Because if the diaspora was voting, I think we'll get something closer to progress. Do you have any ways you're thinking that we should push before the constitution changes? What can we do?
I'm glad you've mentioned constitution. And the question I'll ask is, how do you define a Nigerian? Who's a Nigerian? Is somebody born abroad, outside the shores of Nigeria? Is that person a Nigerian? Is that person entitled to vote? Those are the things we should start looking at. And another thing I look at as well is it will be consumed by the party in power. Are we going to have a voter's card?
Yeah. You're looking at the logistics.
I'm looking at the logistics, yeah. So as I said earlier, we need to define who a Nigerian is. Is it someone that just has a Nigerian passport for the convenience of it? Is it someone that says, right, I was born in Nigeria, but I work abroad? Are those the people we're going to look at? Because every embassy will need to register every Nigerian abroad, which I don't even think there's a database for.
How painful is it for you? I haven't thought about how much do you want to cast your vote?
In UK general elections, I never miss voting. I love it. It annoys me that we can't, but the logistics needs to be looked at properly. Okay? Someone like me, you've come to Manchester to interview me. Where do I go to vote? Do I do postal voting? Go and stand in front of the embassy in London to vote? Nigerians living in Scotland, are they going to do the same thing? Would there be amenities for postal voting? So those are the things I'm looking at. I don't think it's something we should rush. The democracy is only started in 1999. So let it settle down. Or maybe we should talk to Israel and see the way they do it.
I think it's not just Israel. Like there's another country. I think not South Africa, but there's a small nation. A couple of them. Where the diaspora.
Yeah, I've seen the law on telly. Yeah, queuing up in front of the embassies to vote. My fellow Edo people, I will appeal to each and every one of you to vote with your conscience. If politicians come to you with money, take the money. The money is yours. But go home, think about our policies, look at what's best for you and what's best for the state in general before you cast your vote. And to the politicians, please, I beg you, stop playing divisive politics. We're all one. We all seek the same thing: happiness, freedom, and social amenities.
Mr. Okunde, thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz, for having me.
We know you're leaning to the left, but keep yourself open.
I will.
There will be some things from the right, I'm sure about it.
I hope so.
To our listeners at home, thank you very much. It's question time from the Edo Diaspora.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, be say be a passenger, so find yourself in a passenger, treat someone like a
Aloye. I'm from Edo State, Etako Central, and we are watching Question Time from the Edo Diaspora.
Question time. Reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger.